Last season, the Minnesota Vikings needed to make a move at the offensive line because, well, let's just put it plain and simple. They sucked. They were garbage. They were trash to start the year. Ed Ingram really couldn't figure out how to play offensive linemen, couldn't figure out how to play on the offensive line. It was just one of those situations where you looked at it and said, look, our running game isn't doing anything. We can't find the holes. We can't create the gaps to get these runners some open field. And we really need to make an acquisition. We need to add somebody to the offensive line. And we did just that last season, adding Dalton Risner to the depth chart or to the offensive line, which, hey, helped tremendously. Remember, we traded away Ezra Cleveland to the Jacksonville Jaguars, which basically gave Dalton Risner the opportunity to start and really showcase his skills and show the organization why he deserves to potentially stay a Minnesota Viking. But that contract was only one season. So after the year ended, after the Super Bowl or whatever, Dalton Risner became a free agent, fully expecting the Minnesota Vikings to reach out and potentially start some contract negotiations. And from what I've kind of heard, it doesn't seem like anybody has reached out to Dalton Risner, not just the Vikings, like all 31 other teams haven't reached out to Dalton Risner, which is kind of troublesome. It's interesting why nobody has reached out to him because I thought he played phenomenal for us. I thought he stepped up in a great way. Look, the guy allows little to no pressures throughout the season, little to no sacks throughout the season, little to no penalties. I mean, he is a very, very consistent, reliable offensive lineman. Like, why wouldn't you want this guy on your roster? Why wouldn't you want to give him another chance, even a 1-year contract, maybe a 2-year contract? And the Minnesota Vikings need to rethink their strategy, need to rethink about signing Dalton Risner because, look, our offensive line depth is not great, okay? It's decent, but we have the starters, and the rest are hit or miss. And currently at the left guard spot, we have Blake Brandel, who's slated to start, and I've actually seen that the Vikings are okay and are confident in what he brings to the team in being a starter in this league. And then the opposite side, we have Ed Ingram, okay, who's sort of inconsistent, got a little bit better last season at the end of the year, but we still need some more depth. Even if we sign Dalton Risner as a depth piece, I would absolutely love it. But the Vikings need to sign or at least engage in contract extension talks with or contract talks or negotiations with Dalton Risner. I really do believe we need to bring him back to Minnesota just because, again, the depth, we need better starters. We need to find a way to get this team going in the run game, which last year was non-existent, plain and simple. So what is this situation currently and how is it going? Let's get right to it. Before we do, subscribe to the channel. So the Minnesota Vikings made a shrewd move last year by signing offensive guard Dalton Risner to a value contract a couple of games into the season and could repeat that success again in 2024. Hint, there's a one word in there, success. I thought it was. Matt Bowen of ESPN compiled a list of their best remaining NFL free agents and their top team fits around the league, highlighting a reunion between Risner and the Vikings amid those proposals. Here's what he said. A return to Minnesota makes the most sense here for Risner, who logged a pass block win rate of 95.5% last season, which was fifth among guards, while allowing just 2 sacks. Okay? Now, he wrote that on May 20th, but he also said that he can drop anchor in pass protection to close down interior rush lanes, and he displayed a rugged play style as a run blocker in Kevin O'Connell's offense. Minnesota currently has Blake Brandel and Ed Ingram slated to start. Not only is a good pass protector, he's a pretty darn good run protector as well, or run blocker, if you will. So I just don't understand what the holdup is here. Like, are we waiting to see if these rookies, which, by the way, I think we only got one rookie, and he was an undrafted free agent, Michael Jurgens, I do believe, center out of West Virginia. So, I mean, I think he was out of West Virginia, if I remember correctly. But still, like, we need the depth, okay? He's successful. He's consistent. He's reliable. That's what you need on the offensive line. Risner fits this program perfectly. Now, perhaps the biggest obstacle to Risner returning to Minnesota is how he feels the franchise has undervalued him after a quality campaign, which the offensive lineman has spoken openly and candidly about during the offseason. He spoke multiple times on the situation. They've asked him about, well, you know, have you had any conversations with teams or the Minnesota Vikings? And he basically put it like, no, like nobody's really reached out to me. I don't understand it. And now there could be a little bit of a chess match here. Like, oh, you undervalue me? Okay, well, now if you want me so bad at this point, say if the Vikings wanted him, his price is going to go up because he has a little bit of a axe to grind with the organization. Now he does want to play football. He's really good. He's going to find a job, whether that's before the season or during training camp or midway through the season. He's going to find a job, but I really hope it's Minnesota, and I really hope that they bite uh, basically right now. Like, go sign this man. It's not going to hurt your organization. The only thing it's going to hurt is potential contract extension talks with this man, Justin Jefferson. Is that the holdup? Is the money side of things the holdup? Well, then how about this? Get this deal done with Jefferson, and then let's go sign Dalton Risner. Let's add to this offense. Let's make this more of a dynamic offense compared to just a one dynamic offense, which we were last year, just a passing team. We had what? I think I can count the touchdowns on one hand. Rushing. That's not good. That's horrible. We have to figure this out, right? And not addressing the offensive line is a little bit worrisome if you're a Minnesota Vikings fan. Now, Reisner's most recent comments came as part of an interview with WIBW, a CBS affiliate in Topeka, Kansas, during a charity golf tournament last month. Here's what Reisner said on April 17th. I'm a guy who realizes I'm not the best guard in the league. Well, maybe top 5. But I know this. I've started 75 games in my 5-year career. I don't miss games due to injury, knock on wood. Definitely don't miss them due to anything but injury, okay? I'm a guy that you're going to have counted on every single Sunday. I'm not going to say I'm going to do it easily, but I'm going to block guys like Chris Jones and hold my own. And I'm just still undervalued. I completely 100% agree with Dalton Risner. He is undervalued. He's had 5 years in the league. He's remained consistent. The one thing or the one knock on him is that he's not great against the stunts, which it is what it is. If you're a good pass protector, if you're a good run blocker, you're consistent, you don't give up penalties, you don't allow sacks, you might deserve a job, right? I mean, that's common sense, knowledge. Now, I look at this situation and go, yes, have to bring in Dalton Risner. But the one thing about it is the money side. And I'm sure that's what Minnesota's worried about. Maybe they did reach out to him at one point and said, what are we looking at? Or maybe we're just not sold on the fact that he's a Minnesota Viking. Maybe the organization is just like, no, we just needed him for that time being, and we're going to roll forward with Blake Brandel and Ed Ingram, which, if that's the case, boy, are we in for a long, long season, which we already are, but I mean, even longer if we don't get this done. Dalton Risner coming back to Minnesota is one of the things I really, really want to see happen. I want to know what your guys' thoughts are on Dalton Risner maybe coming back to Minnesota. Would you like him back in the organization, or what are your overall thoughts? Leave those in the comment section down below. Also, drop a like and subscribe to the channel. It'd be much, much appreciated. Have a great rest of the night, folks, and Skol Vikes.